The Metal Gear Solid 3 remake is real and on its way, and there are two questions on everybody's mind. Number one, will it be any good? And number two, what does this mean for other Metal Gear games? Are they going to remaster Metal Gear Solid 1 afterward? Are they going to remaster every major title? What happens if they don't limit themselves to even those possibilities? The latter question has been in play ever since the tragic divorce between Konami, Metal Gear owner and publisher, and Hideo Kojima, the world-famous game designer and storyteller. Kojima has always been the heart and soul behind the Metal Gear series, perhaps even to a fault. His stories will enthrall and captivate you, while simultaneously confusing you and disintegrating your understanding of his narrative. At the moment, there is a rather lively debate about how significant Kojima actually was to Metal Gear's success, and some of the arguments here inform us on how to answer our question, what happens next, after the Metal Gear Solid 3 remake. While I'm not an expert on the history here, we can say without a doubt that every major entry in the series under Kojima has been a critical and financial success. After the big split, Konami attempted an entry into the Metal Gear series without Kojima, called Metal Gear Survive, and as many of you may know, it didn't live up to the name. While a surprising number of fans claim that Kojima wasn't as responsible for Metal Gear's success as the media would make it seem, there is no denying the evidence Metal Gear Survive lays before us. Additionally, if Kojima wasn't really that big a deal, we would have had an announcement for a new game centered around either Big Boss or Solid Snake by now, instead of a remake. But because Konami lacks the creative genius Kojima imbued into his games, they have to use a new strategy. Obviously, Survive is a creative direction that didn't work out, and Konami must move on. To attempt a new single-player story focused on one of the series' main protagonists is a huge gamble because they clearly don't have the confidence to write or direct that type of story by themselves yet. In fact, since the gigantic uproar against them by Metal Gear fandom for their separation from Kojima, they're probably not sure how receptive the fan base is, even 8 years later, to new Metal Gear titles without Kojima's name attached to them. But Metal Gear is such a popular and successful IP that just the thought of leaving it behind forever must nauseate them. So how do they revive the series without inflaming the hearts and minds of Kojima-loyal Metal Gear fans around the world? Well, a remake of debatably the most popular Kojima creation, of course. I'm not gonna lie, imagining a current-gen visualization of Snake Eater is badass. It's such an excellent stealth adventure with a story that is truly ahead of its time. So many of us grew up on that game during the PlayStation 2 days. It's really a smart play by Konami. Ultimately though, this is just the beginning. This is a test to see whether or not there's a long-term future with this property. If fans receive it well, where do Konami go from there? Do they try another remake to generate some more favor among grudge-gripping Kojima loyalists? Listen, my heart was broken when Kojima was pushed out of the mix, but if Metal Gear Solid, which originally came out for the very first PlayStation ever, was being remade for the PS5 or PS6 with Phantom Pain-esque gameplay and visuals, could I tell you that I won't play it with a straight face? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. That would be a generation-defining moment within the industry for a game like that with all its history to come full circle. If Konami drops two of the hottest remakes ever, and they turn out to be well made, and then they come right back at us again, but this time with the announcement of a new game following the untold exploits of Big Boss or Solid Snake, then they just might make it out of this crux alive. It could work. They'd have to do everything right in between now and then because they are on mighty thin ice at the moment. Of course, this assumes they want to continue the stories of the series' most popular protagonists. What if they announced a new game with an entirely new character? Maybe you play as Zero long before the events of Snake Eater, or a secret clone of Solid Snake in the future. What about another character we've never even met? The possibilities are actually quite vast, and from a gameplay perspective, the industry could use some more Metal Gear magic. The military sandbox genre is not one that has been conquered by any one franchise yet. Ghost Recon has certainly tried with Wildlands and Breakpoint, but Phantom Pain is a far better game than either, and it would serve as an excellent foundation for recently down-bad gaming company to capitalize on in order to regain its former glory. To expect that Konami has not contemplated this would be an egregious misjudgment. This isn't to say that their plan is foolproof. The stakes are very high, and you don't get many chances to fumble a property like Metal Gear. Konami certainly has their work cut out for them, and the odds of success aren't exactly comforting. For all of us Metal Gear fans out there, the upcoming remake, or remakes, may be the last of the Kojima flavor in the series. But that doesn't mean Metal Gear has to die. Its legacy, no different than Big Boss himself, is more than any one man. With the right amount of love and devotion to the characters, their stories, and the battles they fight, we can experience new narratives and fresh tactical espionage action within the beloved franchise. There is only one question that remains. Is Konami the one to provide? Now I want to know what you guys think. Is this whole thing fated to die, or are we about to witness one of the greatest gaming comebacks of all time? Talk about it in the comments. If you enjoyed the video, feel free to leave a like, and if you want to see more, consider subscribing. Until next time everyone, take care.